Hey guys, it's CalmBee and I'm here with another Rec Room Studio tutorial. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through how to convert Blender animation into Rec Room Studio and how to get that working into Rec Room. I know this is a very common question that I see people asking on the Discord. So I'll do my best to explain it. I'm not going to go into detail on animation, but I will do a simple one just to illustrate the point. And yeah, if you have any questions, please comment below. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I'd greatly appreciate that. All right, onwards with the video. All right, so I just opened up a Blender file and it came with this beautiful cube. So I'm going to animate the cube and then bring that into Rec Room Studio. So first I'm going to click on the animation tab and I'm going to hit record, and this will record my movements over these time frames. So we'll start over here, we'll move it up, and you'll see that all those transforms will be recorded, and then we shall bring that down, and then I'm going to copy the original animation, the first 0 time track, and paste that so we have a nice up and down movement. I'm also going to, for illustrative purposes, adjust how many frames I want to show. So we'll put this at 10 frames. And if I hit spacebar, I have this nice bouncing motion. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my nonlinear animation. So this is my cube animation that I currently have set up. I just want to bring this to your attention because you may have several different animations for an object or several objects, and you'll want to make sure that they're organized as your NLA tracks because that will be what you're importing into Rec Room Studio. Alright, so let's just save this file and I'll drag it in. Alright, so when you do download this in, it's important to note that you want an FBX file. And you'll also click on just the mesh that you want to import, or what I would do is I would keep everything except the camera and the lamp because you don't really need to drag those in. So we'll drag in those, and I'm going to go on over to Bake Animation, and you'll want to make sure that your NLA strips are clicked, and then you just export that FBX file. Alright, so now that we are in Unity, I dragged in my file from Blender, the FBX file, and if I open up this little arrow here, you'll see that I have the material, which I did not assign, so it is white. We have the cube and we have the animation. So let's drag this into our scene. And next up, we will want to go ahead and duplicate this cube animation. There we go. So now we don't have that packed in our prefab. We'll also want to go to the prefab and unpack completely. And I'll just call this cube. We'll also want to create an empty parent for our game object so that we can apply the Rec Room script. And let's go ahead and make that into a prefab. All right, let's drag that down and go over and open up our prefab. And you'll see we have the cube. We'll want to apply that animation that we unpacked to our cube, and you'll see an animator show up. Next, what you'll want to do is go over to Animator, and if you do not see that, you could go ahead down over to Window and Animation, and if you click on an animator, you'll get the same screen. We'll want to create an empty state, and this will be where we begin. So we'll want to set this as our default state, make a transition up when we hit a trigger, and make a transition down when we want to turn it off. Let's go ahead and create two triggers. One we'll call on and one we will call off. If we hit the upward arrow, we'll want to apply our on condition and uncheck the exit time. And if we hit the down arrow, we'll want to apply the off condition and again uncheck that has exit time. Let's go back to our scene and go over to our game object. So let's go ahead and add the Rec Room object script as well as a box glider. All right, so let's go ahead and add an event, and we'll want this to be a Unity event string. The event name we'll call set trigger, and we'll want to go ahead and open up this little plus tab to drag in our cube. Go ahead and go over to your animator and hit set trigger. All right. Another thing to note is if you do want this looping, go ahead and click on your cube animation, and I will just go ahead and click these two items so that way I have a seamless animation and we should be set up. So you'll want to again make sure your cube, your child object, has the animator, that the animator you have set up to these two conditions, and that your game object has both the Rec Room script, some sort of collider, as well as your set trigger event. All right, let's go over to Rec Room and I will show you how to hook it up. All right, so here we are in Rec Room, and if I go ahead and fly up to my cube, I have the circuit board for my game object, and I'll want to create two items. The first is a button, so I could set off the animator, and the second is a studio event sender string, and I'll just add that below. So let's connect this up. We'll want to say when we press the button, we want this studio object with the event set trigger to go on. So if I hit the button, we have our animation. Now, if I want to turn this off, let's go ahead and clone these two items. But the only difference is we'll change the value to the off. Let's connect our game object, and I hit that button and it's off. On, off, on, off. Alright guys, so hopefully this video helped you out and you are now able to take an animation from Blender and bring it all the way back into Rec Room using Rec Room Studio, and also how to set up those events so you do not have it continuously looping, and you could decide when you want to turn on the animation and when you want to turn it off. If you liked the video, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.